what size Allen key was in that damn tire?
An Allen key tire? How does it even look like?
You know, he texted me, he shows me, I'm like, what is that in your tire? He was looking at an Allen wrench. 20, or an hour later, I blew a front floor of my dump truck. I'm like, kid, don't ever do that again. Driver front. No, I did it. It was my fault. I was trying to help a kid load in a construction zone to not be in live traffic, so I hopped the boulevard. So the dump truck is, you know, my front, when the passenger side was on the curb. It's like he was done loading, I was ready to go home. They had a jackhammer hole behind me, so I could see it in the mirror and try and get it not hit that.
Good, how are you?
Turn the tire and I hit the bottom of the hole that was sitting there. Blew the sidewall right out of it. At 6:30 at night.
Fire extinguishers.
Oh, 9 videos done last night. So
Oh,
excited.
yeah. It'll just be easier.
It was all my fault.
As many as we can get at one time.
Sorry, I got through it.
Oh,
I'll shoot you an email. I'll do that today. I forgot.
that? We did a new clock.
It's June 17th.
Why? 'Cause it's
So if any,
it's not in the budget?
basically just want to go to one spot so that they can
Wow.
go through them real quick, do whatever they gotta do to check them.
I know, Kristen.
You know, if most of the vehicles not out, all of them don't have to be there.
Want me to
Most
tell
of
you
them
the
are, just make it
seconds?
easier. For
Yeah,
our
but
staff.
28 seconds or how many seconds?
I'll shoot you this.
I don't know why I don't get it on my phone sitting in front of me as the actual time.
Yeah, but who looks at that?
I do.
Probably talk, maybe I'll talk.
Everybody thinks I'm texting on my phone, I'm actually doing stuff, usually.
I think it's just propane, I don't know.
Something different.
Yeah, I know.
TikTok.
No, not TikTok.
A lot of people there today. Good idea.
Settle down back there, big friend. Can't yell till 6. You got 4 minutes. Not talking about the truck route. Talking about the truck route.
I don't know, I just thought it was 50 feet.
Why do I have the call?
Oh, I had that earlier, and also low.
Only on the agenda.
Yeah, me too, if I can.
That's important.
We're gonna baseball or
Lithium
softball?
motors.
If it was loaded, it was loaded, it would load, and it also.
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna go.
It says lithium motors. That's important. I don't know, that's what we just sent a check to.
Good situation.
No, not Hudson Motors.
Just hit dinger?
Just hit dinger every time.
Yeah, right.
You're on those.
Yeah, they do that.
What a Hudson Ford is.
So I'm gonna go back, we're still hitting fingers.
Just trying to be progressive with lithium.
I'm waiting for the text of
That's what I
finally
said.
the post
Yeah.
packaging and everything up when I left. So,
No,
Oh, no, Christine's gonna be gone.
yeah.
That's right, she told me she was gonna be gone.
I'm gonna smell.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Aren't we all in that?
I think we can do it just.
Not a whole lot.
I would agree.
They have
fire
streets
You know what, it doesn't really matter. We got a pool, we got a cocktail.
I came back.
Because
I keep on.
you're kind of bare skinned anyway.
Well, they're
Well, they're still playing, but I ducked out.
You would be very late.
So be the best way. Somebody came in and was telling me
It's early.
Oh, yeah.
she didn't come in for the
Well, now that you are here, call me to order. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
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 Here. Didn't even get to say what, she was already on it. Didn't like it. Consent agenda 4 through 8. Anybody have anything to be pulled? Motion second. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 9, public comments. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes per person. Any public comments?
I'm gonna say no.
One more time, any public comments? All right, moving on. 10, update on police department building renovations. Paige Sullivan.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have the presentation up on your personal screens? Yeah? Wonderful.
What's up there?
I can't get it to sync. Can't get it to sync, man. I don't know.
You know, they try to tell me that they landed a man with a moon. I'm really not believing this.
It's so cute.
Well-
Better answer, but I don't.
Go ahead, Paige, you will
Go
be
ahead.
fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just you'll be fine, Paige.
I'll try to,
We have it here on our.
so, really kind of starting with the project milestone schedule. We've, discussed this many times. Nothing has really changed. Big things to note are the construction documents phase that we started in March is wrapping up here in June, actually wrapping up today. My team is finishing packaging the construction document set right now when I left. I'm waiting for the text from them saying that they've actually posted it. So it is issuing today on Quest CDN, and then it's also going to like all the plan holders websites that we typically post to. So those should be live, any minute here, and then tomorrow accessible as well. So that's all very exciting. Some other key dates that we want to bring up next Thursday or Wednesday, June 18th is a contractor walkthrough. So that will be at the existing DNR building, and all potential contractors who are interested in the project are invited to come that day. Our team from Wold will be there, our engineers will be there, and we'll kind of walk them through the space. That way contractors have an idea of what they're getting into with renovation projects. There's always, a lot of things that can't really be reflected on the drawings as clearly as actually being there. So we will be on site next week to walk potential bidders around and see that project. And then bid day, as of now, is July 10th at 2 p.m. And we'll do that bid opening here. And then we are planning construction to start in August timeframe if everything goes well, and then go through the beginning part of next year. From a cost standpoint, we did have the next estimate, the construction document phase estimate, come back. We have reviewed that with Mark and with Kevin, and we came in right where we expected. So existing building renovation is right around that 800, a little over 800,000. We do have the 3 alternates that we had discussed last time as well, which is the police garage addition. That's right around $1 million. Some additional parking at 55,000, and then the DNR building standalone. We got some numbers in on that, including all the site costs. We're earmarking roughly 100,000 for that piece. So overall, total cost is right around $2 million for the project, or for the construction.
Is that the little bullshit involved in that too, or no?
That is included in that, yeah.
Crucial point to know.
So then I've got, on the presentation, there's a couple images of the plans, but everyone's seen those quite a few times, so we don't have to really talk too much about that. But one thing that is still in process, we do need a variance for that DNR garage, if that DNR garage is gonna be built, which I've mentioned previously. But so what we did, we worked with Mark to get the variance approvals, or variance board of approvals application, put that together today, and then I think Mark submitted that maybe today, or he will be submitting it. So then there will have to be a hearing, I think, maybe later in July, before we actually award the project. And
Can I
other
ask-
than
Can I
that,
ask real quick, where
Yeah.
is that little cold storage shed where
so if
we're
you,
not deciding to put it in the same spot where the addition, right?
Nope, so if you, look on the site plan, it's over by there's like the existing DNR building, and then behind it, there's an existing garage, and it would go behind that existing garage, so real close to the property line next to the
Why am I
cemetery.
Which one is it in?
It's right there.
It's in this one?
And so we have placed that garage, in earlier renditions, it was connected up to that existing garage building. But we can get a better price from contractors if we don't touch that existing building at all and have this be totally standalone. So it is set away from that existing building about 10 feet. Any other questions? We're all very excited about it. It's been a really fun process, and we're excited to see bids come in as well. We've been calling contractors as well. We called Minnesota contractors, we called a bunch of local Wisconsin contractors, so the word should be out. We've got some feedback already about people who are already saying they're gonna bid the project. So we do plan to call again too. Usually about a week before bid day, we call all the same contractors again and see if we can expect them on bid day. So we should have a good idea, of some people who are gonna be there on actually bid day.
I'd be excited about it too if I wasn't paying for it. Any more questions for Paige? Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving to 11, review bond financing options for PD building and 9th Street project. Sean obviously couldn't be here.
So he sent a memo in his stead, and
Thanks,
basically,
Paige.
just as a basic update of where things are at right now. Kim has been working very diligently with them and also with me on this, trying to look at the elements we talked about before. And we know the street improvement project and the police department, additional costs will be in there, in that bond, but also as far as utility projects, and this isn't finalized yet, but the sludge thickener, since it's gone from about 100, 150 to 400, that and the water meters, there isn't, to take both of those out of the sewer fund is gonna be difficult.
Okay,
So,
whoa. We're back on this water meter thing.
yeah.
Why are we back on this water meter thing? We had the funds, correct? I thought we borrowed for this, or are we waiting for rural water? I thought we had interim finance, I thought we got for 1.2 million for the water towers and the meters.
So maybe it was for a phase of the meters. I know that Mark or Kim were gonna reach out to the DNR and see if, or maybe Sean was even, of the DNR loans, and you request reimbursement through that program, and maybe there's still money left on the loan, like sitting.
We would have to reapply, and that's something we can do, but the problem is we won't get the money till 26, like toward the end of 26. What I was told a year ago when I came was that the DNR loans were for the painting of the 2 water towers and the first 2 phases of the water meter replacement. The 3rd phase was kind of out there in limbo. So the best assumption, and obviously I wasn't here back then, was that it was going to come out of the reserves, out of the fund.
Okay, so I didn't know that there was 3 phases. I thought we had 2 phases. We had 3?
Yes, we did
I
300.
thought we were doing half one year, the second half in this year.
The first phase, we put in 300 ourselves. End of 23. And then 24, we did what was remaining, half of those, and then the second half just this year. But what was remaining from what we had done.
Okay, so this rest of the water meter thing, what we talking about monies?
300,
Okay, so it's not,
around 300.
alright. I thought the total water meter thing was gonna be 800,000.
Yeah,
So we've taken care of 500,000 of it?
we must have, yeah. Roughly.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I mean, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but yeah, the first 2 phases, what Steve had told me was that they were gonna come out of the DNR safe water drinking program
Yeah,
and the water tower painting.
yeah.
But the last phase, and he kind of said the same thing I'm saying, is he didn't know what the plan was for that. Tracy never conveyed to him what the plan was.
Okay, so that's where I'm
So
missing the.
that's
this
where we're
third
coming in with
phase
this
is what's
last
throwing
phase.
me off. All right, then
Yep.
maybe I'm missing it, but,
That's kind of the way I remember too, is that we moved some of that together for water towers, but not all of it.
all right. Okay, all right, that makes me feel better, because I'm,
Yeah, that's all I can say.
keep bringing this water meter thing up, and it's really kind of irritating me, thinking that, didn't we do this already? But, all right, I didn't know there was, I missed that there was a phase 3.
Cause the water towers were in 23 too.
23, then last year was the second one, the big one was last year.
Yeah, we painted the
That
newer,
150, that one was 500, because all the extra, besides just painting, there was other stuff that was done with rehab and
don't
whatnot.
bring up my emblem on there.
No, that was, yeah,
That was
that was peanuts.
So, all right, okay, continue on, that's, sorry.
All right, so anyway, that's to be determined. And so right now, we're just kind of working on fine tuning the numbers. Some of this will be more clear once the 24 audit is pretty well done. So they should be here in July talking about that, the auditors. And so basically, they will be able to make a final recommendation, Ellers, on the use of the cash. How much cash can we use to reduce this total amount? Once the audit's done, I think we'll be in pretty good shape to figure that out. So some other highlights, July 11th, bids will be open for the police station remodeling. July 23rd, now this, you can make a note of this, we'll have to have a special meeting either that date or close to it to accept the bid and award the bid for the police department project. And once we get those bids in too, that's gonna help us determine how much money we're gonna need to borrow. August 13th is when they anticipate the bids will be in for the bond sale, and September 3rd is when they would close the bond sale. So Kim has been working with Sean very closely on a lot of stuff on this also. And Kim, I think, feels confident that we can get through this until September, because we're gonna be paying out for the street project, not so much the PD project. We'll be making some payments out of reserve, and then once the bond starts sold, we'll pay that back, and then all the other related costs. So that's Sean's latest estimate. What the September 3rd or August 13th date allows us to do is find out what the PD numbers are gonna be once those bids come in. So instead of assuming it based on the cost, based on the architect's estimate, we can base it on actual bid costs. So that's, I guess that's all.
So we're gonna review the bids before we actually decide what we're gonna do.
Yes, absolutely. That doesn't change any of that.
Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah, well, that was easy enough. Is Sean gonna be around
Well,
for
he'll be
next
here,
month? I mean,
I don't know if he'll be here the 11th
maybe we
or
can
the
get him for,
23rd.
we're gonna have a special meeting on the 23rd.
Yep.
Maybe he can be around, that's gonna be a crucial one.
Oh, he'll be here for that, absolutely.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Anything else on it?
Nope, that's all.
12, review or approve Baldwin Farmers Market road closure. Was it brought to you, Mark?
This is it was emailed to us from the two managers. They would like, they'd like Public Works to block off part of the road west, 7th Avenue west of Bailey Park. And they said they can put up the roadblocks or take them down. So they're gonna have unicyclers and balloon makers at the farmer's market on June 28th.
That's a Saturday?
Yep, so they have to get approval from the board to.
You have to blow the dust off your unicycle lanes.
Oh, yeah.
Make a motion to approve 12.
You see me in the O'Connell obituaries. I cannot use cycle. We have a motion and a second to approve. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 13, Highway 63 10th Street Bridge Replacement Project, the emergency utility relocation. Graham, you wanna start this out and,
Eric will start.
or Eric can start this out, or?
I'll start it out. So, I can't remember, did we talk about this a little bit at the last meeting? Was it just
Yes.
started then?
Yep.
So, put together a quick memo and overview, but basically what happened is we assumed our water and sewer lines that run next to the bridge that they're replacing were put in for the plan, and they weren't. They weren't even close to as deep as a 7-foot cover. There was a couple feet over them, actually, as they went under the creek. The force main was just east of the new bridge, and actually not in conflict of construction, but would be hanging out there and would be in the riprap of the abutment. The water main took us longer to find. We kept looking for, we thought that maybe it was deep enough because we weren't finding it where we thought it was. Eventually did find it, and it was in conflict with the actual structure because it was so shallow. And so, Graham and the guys coordinated with Baldwin and Jeremy went out and did some fire flow testing to find out if we take that line out of service, what kind of fire service do we have. Didn't really change anything on the flows and the pressures, so added a valve and closed off that line and cut it out of there. So currently there's no water line running down 63. And so they were able to continue with the construction. And so now what you have in front of you is we looked at different options for replacement of that line. I did speak with Paul about the bidding requirements and, does this constitute an emergency? We felt that it did, and by statute, you don't have to go through the bidding process. We felt like the best design was to do a directional drill of these lines to get them underneath the new bridge. And so we do have a bid from Albrightson to do that. I know it's no consolation as you're talking about a bunch of other things that are costing money. In hindsight, Matt brought it up last meeting, we should have potholed and found out where that was, and it certainly was our fault that we didn't verify. But what we did want to do is hold up construction either. These guys worked really hard to make sure that didn't happen. But if we were to pothole it and find out ahead of the construction, this is likely what we would have done anyway. It's not the timing or the way that we wanted to do it. But I think that this is probably the method that we would have used anyway to put the lines back in the same spot and get them deep enough with this directional drill. So we did review the numbers. They look appropriate what we actually expect if it was publicly bid. So Albert said their sub has stepped up on that too and not taking advantage of the situation, which we appreciate. They've been working with us well. And, so now in front of you tonight is the cost of putting those lines, which was the $71,390 estimate. And so the actual cost will be what they put in. We did put in 220 feet of each. We feel like the end number will be likely less than that, but they get paid for what they put in.
I guess I just have one question.
Sure.
In the conditions, it says the Village of Baldwin is to supply all the materials, and then in the bid item, it's showing for that hydrant labor only, so is there still another cost incurred?
Yeah,
yet?
so
We don't know.
we either have a hydrant or like the way that they.
We're gonna put a hydrant in by the Dollar General there, so we're gonna supply the hydrant and the valve for it, the materials,
We have one, we're
hook
not,
it up.
okay.
That's all that means. We're just doing the hydrant part because we're buying the hydrant direct and then not having to we can source it, all that stuff.
So SCH is kind of apologizing to me? Us?
Well, I'm apologizing.
Well, I mean, you're representing SCH, I'm not asking for you personally for one, but I think after Matt and I talked after the meeting, yeah, this shouldn't happen ever again. I mean, we've known about this project since 2023, so, but you guys have basically said that, you know, we should have done this and we didn't, and I'll take that and we gotta do this. Matt, you got anything? You said your piece last week, or last month, so.
I guess my question, Eric, is understandably the $70,000 bill is now, and it would have had to been done earlier. What would have the cost been done earlier?
It would've been, from what Albright's told me, it's similar.
It
maybe
would?
10.
Okay.
Yeah, so I called Graham about this, so he called and they're saying maybe 10 grand less.
Oh, okay.
If we'd done it a year ago.
I was thinking half.
No.
No.
That's it.
I was expecting this bill to be $150,000 to $200,000, then I would have been,
Right.
started thinking about questioning stuff, I mean.
And, you know, just to add a couple comments, Amy, you know, to elaborate on that, I mean, you know, it probably would have cost the same, but what if we didn't have a redundant loop, or what if we don't have another water tower?
Right.
And then this, you know, if this was a typical, like, we need to get this, you know, we could have been fined. This could be $170,000, because they would have had to do it next day, right?
Could've been a lot worse, yeah.
So, you know, it could have been a lot worse.
Right.
We're lucky. And I guess
It shouldn't have happened.
It's a learning experience, and there's a little bit of luck involved with it too. And everybody was, yeah, this could have got bad quickly, but.
So we're finding $71,000 out of.
Well, hold on, the forest main and the water,
Water fund, unless we include it in the bond sale, that's to be decided.
well, how much more are we gonna add to the bond sale? I mean, are we just gonna throw everything on there? I mean,
No, we're not saying.
we might as well just put a community center up for another $10 million too.
New fire hall?
That'd be great.
Oh, and a fire hall. Jeez.
Library.
And a library.
Well, that'd be in the community.
And we'll add on to the sewer plant.
No, we're gonna build a library on top of the sewer plant. So, all right, well, you got a little bit of time to figure out the money out.
Lance,
No, we do.
In the Eller presentation, what was bridge improvements water utility portion?
That was this.
Sorry.
Well, Sean had it in his.
If we
Yeah.
have to, but the other plants that we can't keep throwing stuff on that thing, we're gonna be.
Well, and now it looks like we're not gonna use any, so water's gonna pay for all of it? Oh, is this all water, or is there some sewer in there?
It'd be part water, part sewer.
So, what do you think, half? Is Eric for price? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, is one more water that we gotta spend way more on directional
Water.
drilling than the sewer, or?
Yeah.
The water's like 12.
Water will be more, yeah.
But it's a bigger pipe.
Okay, well, now with this bond for the thickener, we do have monies in that sewer account that we could use to pay for this.
Yeah, I don't think,
This is what we could use this money to pay for, because it's, you know, $30,000 or $27,000. That's just write the check. Don't put that on there. I don't know what's in the water fund. I do know what's in the sewer fund. You know, when we first started, we were talking $150,000 for the thickener.
Yep.
Well, now we're at $500,000. Well, now we can't just go write a check because we're gonna deplete our funds. So
right, but this could be paid out of there.
I think we just write it out of there. I don't know what's in the water fund. We should look into that, but I think we just write checks.
For this.
Yeah, and not even put it on the bond. That's my thought on it.
So I don't know if we have to have a motion for this and all that,
We have to have a motion to approve this, yeah.
Albright's to do it.
Yeah. So, motion approved. You're gonna make a motion, or you're gonna second my motion? Oh, you're gonna make it? I'll second it then, instead of making it like when I said motion approved. No, that's okay.
I thought you were asking.
No.
Question mark.
No. That's okay.
Way to hijack the motion into it.
Yeah.
Just
Sorry.
hijack
I'm
it,
so
but,
sorry.
no.
It won't happen
So we have a
again.
motion and a second to pay Albright's and $71,390
For emergency repair.
for emergency repair for the, you know,
Replacement of the 12-inch water main,
yep.
6-inch sanitary.
Yep. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Yeah, let's look into that. I wanna see what's in the water fund.
Change
The sewer, we're just writing a check. 'Cause I know what's in there. I mean, this thing, right, we'll just do that, but water, we'll see where we're sitting. Okay. 14, review or approve fireworks sales permit application, Wisconsin Properties Pyro City.
Is this a new owner? Like,
Well,
Yes.
yes, it kinda is. Jody probably can give us a little more on this.
Fireworks outlet changed to Victory Fireworks,
Yeah.
and you approved it in December, now all of a sudden it's Pyro.
Oh,
Still
and they're
owned by
from
Winco.
Missouri? They're from Missouri?
That's where Winco is, that's the overall,
Did we figure out-
Here in Baldwin is Pyro.
Kevin went out there and talked to him, said that they were selling illegally, kinda, because they didn't have permits, correct?
We did a compliance check, just to ensure that they're doing everything that they needed to be doing with both, stores.
Well, my question is, are you satisfied with for this? I mean, you're the clerk, this is kinda,
This will give them, as soon as I get this printed tomorrow, we'll have them having the seller's permit. Staff come and dropped off a check for $12,000 for 4,000 permits.
okay,
We told them the existing permits at the store, since they have not bought any for 2 years, are null and void. I'm not gonna agree to those. They still bring the same fireworks outlet, but until all those books are gone, we're not ordering anything until then.
okay.
So why do they need 4,000 permits?
Anytime you buy fireworks, you need an all-session permit.
Oh, so 4,000 people.
So 4,000.
Can purchase from
people
them.
can come through there. and
Oh, okay.
access. As
Understood.
soon as you buy it, you need to walk around
And in
the
a
store.
season on the highway, you're gonna have way more than 4,000 people come per year.
When they run out, they have to buy more permits.
It'll all right around July.
They're supposed to
3rd.
buy more permits.
Yeah.
They're gonna this year. Haven't
Well-
done it.
So is this not the book they're looking at?
No. This has been a competitor for years. So if you're satisfied, I'm okay with this.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
See, it's that easy, just if Jody's happy, then we can just approve. Motion second to approve Wisconsin Properties Pyro City's fireworks sales permit. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye. Opposed? 15, review and approve annual liquor license applications. Jody?
You are gonna see 2 new ones on here, which are the 2 hotels, so American and the Baymont are now gonna be able to get a Class B, meaning that they can sell it over the counter.
Beer and wine.
Yeah, just beer.
Just beer.
Oh,
Just beer, they can
Okay.
sell beer there to be taken away or consume it on the premise.
Are seltzers considered beer now, or has Wisconsin not changed their?
It depends on what it's made of,
Right.
so if it's intoxicating liquor, it's not okay.
Okay.
I would just.
Compliance checks.
I would, yes, and we'll have to do those for operator permits out there, because not a lot of those. I would just, when you do approve this, just put in there that, because the last 2 that came in late, they didn't get into the paper until this week, so they do need a 14-day publication. So I would just recommend when you make the motion that you approve it upon publication time and all paperwork having been submitted. I did get asked if we had any reserves. We do have about 4 reserves yet. So,
We do have that many reserves for Class B,
yes,
really?
I was approached to see if we had one. I haven't had anything since then. So we do have the ability to sell those now to our surrounding county municipalities. So that's $10,000.
2 million.
Or it could be higher if you wanted.
We need to pay for a police station and start selling them things. $500,000 apiece.
Wow, we
It's ideas, I'm sure I'll get shot down on it.
hold a lot of it.
Paul just like, you can't do that. It's not really legal though, is it? If somebody's willing to pay for that?
Minimum of 10,000.
Oh, it's just a minimum of 10,000. I thought it was set at 10,000. It's a minimum of 10,000. Oh, we gotta start bidding wars here.
25.
This is great.
But once you sell them, they're gone.
Yeah,
Right.
that's just it.
So once they're gone.
But you get more if, as the population grows, correct? Is that how that works?
Another 500 people.
That's right.
That'll be easy enough. Okay.
That's fine, that complex.
I'm just curious, Jody. Class AL. Just, like for the consumer cooperative
That was.
settings.
It's just a class A liquor, it just didn't get on there.
We've never done this before. It's just always been in the consent agenda.
Shouldn't necessarily be.
I know.
So it's here
That's
now.
just
What
what,
did you say was late?
Needs to go to the board
The
separate.
two hotels,
Oh,
so I had to work a little harder with those to get everything done. And we're still not exactly done with all the paperwork, but that's why I like it, we approve them, that if the completion of all paperwork submitted.
And 14 days after publication.
14 days.
Publication will be next week? So basically
So
3
basically,
weeks.
they'll still get it by July first, it's just, I like to have it done a little
Early.
bit sooner.
Yeah.
so are you satisfied?
Everybody else is good to go.
Why don't we just
Now
hold
we got
those
a
two
little
until July? They got it in late.
No. Yes and no. They didn't necessarily know that they could apply, so we had to work through that a little bit, so it took a little bit extra time with them. I told them that, you know, that I would put them on the schedule for tonight, but that they would still be, you know, not approved until all paperwork and all publications. But if I don't do it now, you don't approve until middle of July. next month.
So
So if they want.
next year, if they're late, that's their own fault because they know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which we did that last year with one, right?
Yeah, we had a hard time, all that was waiting and all that.
All right,
And
move
they already
to,
need a new agent, so they're still behind the eight ball this year.
Weird.
move to approve annual liquor licenses for the village of Baldwin contingent upon all paperwork being submitted and a timeline of 14 days after publication of said liquor licenses.
Second.
You're good at that, Amy. Nice motion.
Well, thank you. Solid.
Yeah, that was a solid motion.
Tried to speak slowly too, Jody.
Questions, comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? 16, review approved resolution 2025 DNR compliance maintenance resolution. I'm assuming this is the same thing that Gary came in, is hoorah and said, well, it's just the same as the year before and the year before that. We made it, we did our job, and we passed.
There you go.
Well, do you want to stand up and speak?
I can say a couple
If
things.
you would like to,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know if you went through it, but everything was an A except for a phosphorus, which is something we gotta put a little something in there. And that's the same as last year's. I spoke on the phosphorus last year too. With that being a new system, we're still having issues with the sand filters on the final part of it. The January, February was our fine tuning. We had a spike in August, which we still don't know how that happened. When that did happen, we had a secondary line that could be used, but it took 3 weeks to get that put into place. And it took another 3 or 4 weeks to get it back under control. That's what made the August or the September numbers high. Since then, we've been doing multiple tests a week to try to catch that. And if we can catch it fast enough, hopefully get it under control.
So is the phosphorus high or low, Jeremy?
It's high.
High.
We're trying to remove the phosphorus. So, and we have no idea where the spike came from. It could be from manufacturer, soaps, cleaners, there's a whole bunch of things. We probably didn't catch it till a week later. We were just doing weekly tests at that time, and it gets sent to Kofax. I do in-house now to try to keep an eye on it. And since then, we haven't had any issue until actually last week I found a spike, but it was much smaller. So, and our sand filters are still not fully operational as they could be. We have a few issues with that, but that is getting taken care of. We don't have a final date, but the valves are all gonna be switched out again because of some sizing issues.
You coming for money again, or?
No, that's, they failed within 3 months, so it's all under warranty.
Okay, keep a check on everybody out there, Jeremy, I'm relying on you
Yeah.
to not come and, well,
I got
that's
other
not,
things
need
I
another
can ask
million.
I got a bunch of other stuff that I'll show you.
Yeah. Get this fixed and you'll have a little wish list, but just not right now.
No, so everything else is going good, and this little thing, I mean, we do 4 tests a month, so one little bump in it can send us over, but they're expensive tests to do, so.
And just to let everybody know that Wisconsin and a small part of the Potomac River have the lowest phosphorus levels by rule or law is here and by the Potomac River, not the rest of the nation. Thank you, Governor Doyle. Signed me the last day of office.
Well, if I die of too much phosphorus in my water, Jeremy, I think it's probably the
It's
easiest
not.
way to go.
Do you know how much
It's
phosphorus
not.
people put on their lawns?
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not talking drinking water now, this is wastewater.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
all wastewater.
Don't be
I
drinking
hope you're not
wastewater.
drinking that. Then I gotta check on her weekly.
Then I ought to go, if I'm that dumb.
We have good wastewater though, if you want to, but I
No,
just
thank
don't
you.
recommend it.
I mean, I've seen all the benefits.
It does get very clear.
I'm not gonna drink it, but it looks good.
Okay.
Motion to approve DNR compliance maintenance resolution.
Second.
Motion, multiple seconds.
Pick one.
Any questions or comments on this? Roll call.
Austin,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Lance,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Cory, Samson.
Committee reports. Public Safety and Personnel Committee. Chad, what?
Do we have a yes?
Yes, yes, we do.
I heard it.
Yes,
I heard
From
that
what?
there was a yes.
From one?
yeah, exactly,
Sweet.
yes.
Yes. Thank you.
So who wants to,
Chad will do this.
Amy or Chad?
I'm gonna have to say yes. Okay.
No, it's fine, it's fine. No, so we had a meeting tonight, we had interviewed 4 people for the public works position backfill for Zach that left. So it looks like now we're having another Zach, so I'll take his place. So we put the offer out for starting pay of $29 an hour. And then we did add a one-time addition of 16 hours of PTO because of the upcoming holidays that they have to use PTO to cover.
Remember the two summer holidays.
They basically would burn their PTO up, they'd have no PTO, so we did that just to help with their holidays, to get the summer holidays here. So that's what we're proposing, it sounds like he did accept the offer, so. We recommend that we report our,
We didn't have a bad candidate.
we actually have
Amazing.
4 good candidates
We
this
had 4 good
time,
candidates.
which is the first time in a while, so.
Where were they the last?
You
Oh,
told me.
yeah.
That sucks too, when you're trying to like fix them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're all really close.
Yeah.
Got a motion?
So moved that we hire Zach Becker,
I'll second.
for $29 an hour.
Motion and a second to hire Zach Becker. And what the committee has decided for the wage and the PTO. Questions, comments?
Those minutes did need to be updated, because roll call says Christine Forbes and Chad Werman.
Uh-oh. You're right, I see that. Okay, we'll change that.
She's not calling.
Thanks, Matt.
Where is this guy from?
Hammond.
Oh.
He used to live in Baldwin and moved back to Hammond, but he's a local kid. He told me that his water bill's a little excessive, he might be coming back.
Really?
All right,
Oh.
we are gonna change that. We have a motion second to approve it, and you will have the minutes taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is that all you guys had on your committee report for the personnel?
That's all.
5:30, yes, that
So
was
that's very good, that's
pretty
getting
quiet,
better.
pretty quiet for a while.
Hopefully can be a little bit quieter for a bit. Planning Commission, June 2nd. I was not here once again.
All right,
Amy,
planning commission back June 2nd, obviously. Johnson Tractor had submitted to us that they wanted, it's not signed the relocation, it's new sign, isn't it?
Right, it's a
Yeah.
quota sign, I don't know if they're taking it from their old, but it's,
Okay.
yeah, it's new sign at their location.
We as a committee did approve that or send it to you for final approval, or does that not need to come to the board, the sign?
It does.
It does.
It does.
Okay, sent to the board here for final approval, and Sean reminded us that with this sign addition, they will be at the max signs they can have on the freeway side. So if they want another one, they would need to apply for a variance.
Sean.
I'm sorry,
Eric.
Eric.
Okay, I was just like,
Don't, sorry, lots of.
I'm the finance guy getting into the signage.
Sorry, Eric,
Okay, no, that's cool.
yeah.
They, oh really, that,
They would have to get a special exception
Oh,
where we
special
already
exception.
realized, yeah, so it's a little bit easier with the sign than it is with the variance for a different zoning code.
Correct.
You know, that they might not get setback or something, so it's a little bit easier, it's just a, public hearing and it's more like a conditional use permit process. So they've currently maxed out the number of signs they can have on the property.
So do we wanna go on to the
We-
next one, or do we wanna?
well,
make-
let's make a decision on this right now.
That's good, thank you. I would move to approve the sign, Johnson Tractor sign, as requested.
Motion second to approve the Johnson Tractor sign from recommendation of the committee, the planning commission. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, our, second agenda item was, the request to change zoning of 1825 11th Avenue, the Shadle, property, which is, currently one of the Restore and Restyle buildings, as you would know. Lots of discussion on this, and here's the thing, the commission, was to decide whether the proposal of this small event center that they would like to have on the property would meet Class C19 zoning,
Which is current.
Right.
current zoning, yeah, for the Class C19, right? Eric?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, it's just, yeah, section, A9.
So with much discussion on other things and the Shadles needing to go back to the inspector and the state for approval of the actual building, we as a commission did say that we feel the small event center proposed does meet the Class C1 zoning as,
Permitted.
as equal to a meeting space or meeting room. So we did move to approve and send that to the board here, that a small event center of less than 300 people, and this would be less than 80 people, would fit the Class C1 for that area, that location.
Okay.
Yeah, good, I think one thing that helped is, you know, first, Al Croy's letter noted that we utilize it as an event center. And so you think of event center, you know, what do you think of, you don't really think of a meeting room, or at least I don't.
No.
Yeah, and once they described that it wasn't for, wedding receptions, they weren't planning on serving food or alcohol. It's a baby shower, it's a,
It's a meeting place.
it's a meeting place to gather, you know, family reunion, something, that kind of thing. Estimated about 80 people, and so the second commission felt that was more of a, in line with what the code says of clubs, lodges, meeting rooms with seating capacity within 300. So like that was in line with the allowed use.
And then if they get things sorted out with inspector and state and county, then they will need to come back for the actual approval of planning.
Yeah, they'll just have to start the whole process back over, whatever they gotta do.
Well, it's basically a case where,
Small
event
event
center is a new term.
Well, they're trying to get that, that's what they're trying to get from all and see if it does need to be sprinkled because of the elevated ceiling and the square foot of the property. As a square foot, no, with the elevated ceilings, possibly, that's up to all correct.
That's up to the state, isn't it?
It's
Yeah, it
state.
is. It's the,
It's state, but all correct talks for the state, so, yeah.
So make a motion to approve 17B3, change of use, or change.
So I think the approval would be, that the proposed use is consistent with the current zoning.
Correct.
You're just interpreting your code.
that was your motion, Matt?
Yeah.
We have a second? We did have a second? We had-
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
They're whispering.
Okay. You can't whisper stuff down here, you gotta speak your
Shout
mind
out
here.
in your ear.
Well, don't yell at me.
I checked one motion and then you.
I'm supposed to, I know, now I'm trying to step on your toes here, Lance.
That's okay.
Sheesh.
You gotta make a statement when you're doing.
I'll second that, Matt.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye. Oppose? 6:47, Eric, it's up to you. Village engineer.
You got budget and finance.
Oh, my, I skipped budget and finance again. Ah, budget and finance.
Well, this one should be fast,
Second.
so, yeah.
Yeah, we're not in October.
Right, so what this is we have to July first, so what Kim came for is, we wanna amend our budget from 2025. So there's some, we have to fill out every year, there's a form that goes to the state that helps with what kind of funds we get back from the state. And we have to adjust the amount to keep the percentage within a certain range. So Kim wants us to amend our budget, so we'll be throwing, or adding 93,000 into that budget, because we have, there's for 3 areas, they're gonna be for, covering like the, around the street project area, the fire department, and the courts, because right now we're running way over budget on some of those, but those are things we will be recouping as we go through the year, and
Sure.
get money back from those things. And once we do the budget, we'll get the street money back too, so we're putting this $93,000 into the budget, but we can't spend it. It's just going in there to account for the monies that are gonna be coming back through as we get reimbursed for the different things that we're doing.
Helps with the audit situation
Yes.
possibly, or
Yep, so it's
what?
recommended that we do this and keep the books where they need to be to account for that money that's currently out, but will be coming back in. So she recommended that we move forward with amending that.
And I'm assuming we need to have board approval on this, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Paul.
amending budget, yep.
Yeah.
So, putting money in.
So that's pretty much all it is. Okay.
Yep, just to account for those things.
Well, I'll make a motion, what else, everybody's,
I'll make a motion.
I figured everybody was making
Amended
motions in
budget,
seconds around here,
additional
so.
93,000.
Second, all good.
You're all, this thing. Yeah, I trust what Kim's doing, I think she's doing a good job, so,
Yeah, this is run through with the auditors and everybody, so.
okay. Questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Now we're at you, Eric.
Alright, there's a couple of reviews that were from Plan Commission, we're here tonight. I spent a lot of time with Graham on the, utility replacement, working on, so some permitting, we got the water permit today. That was a really quick turnaround, it was nice to get. We did meet on infrastructure improvement plan and went through the list of projects. I think we ended up with 13 on there. And so now we'll do some detailed estimates and kind of format things and have something, and I don't know if we do a building and roads or building streets committee meeting where we do it or something.
Yeah, that'd be the next step.
And then it'll be ready probably late summer, for more ahead of, budget season is the plan, so. We got that, and, thickener, we didn't get pricing finalized yet, we're still working through that. So we'll update you when we have it. RJ did get us something this week, actually, it's sent over to SCH, and what he sent over, there were some things that weren't correct, so we didn't even forward on to you guys. We got clean up part of it, we'll go from there.
Is it being somewhat fair or no?
Well, there was things included that, we didn't ask, so
I'd keep an eye on that, cause he's gonna try to recoup something here along the lines. And I trust you guys to keep a eagle eye on it.
Yeah, well, that's why we didn't even send it on to Jeremy yet, we're not sending this out.
That means you guys keep an eye on it too, and look at it also. Please.
One thing we did talk about, and Graham and I talked about earlier this week too, that Ovivo 150,000 piece. So Ovivo is contracted with Drowski. You know, we have our contract with Drowski, Ovivo is contracted with Drowski. So they talked about potentially an easier way of routing if Ovivo could cut the village check rather than to Drowski. And I basically said, I don't think we care how the money shuffles around as long as we get it.
Mhm.
And, you know, they're gonna ask for, a waiver, I'm sure, and Paul and I can talk about that too, but it's basically a lien waiver once it's all done. But that was something that was discussed earlier too, should that be routed through RJ or should that be routed through the village? So that's still to be determined.
To us.
I think
It makes way more sense just to us.
That's why.
Why you gotta put it in the third, three hands? Just go direct.
Right. With some money coming out of our pocket.
Right.
Just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all you got? You got more?
that's it.
That's it? Okay, thanks, Eric. Graham?
All right. Just seeing my updates there. Ninth Avenue Street project slated to begin this week. They did do a little bit of silt fence on the creek. Supposed to be removing curb and gutter, blacktop driveways, all that stuff. Right now, aren't here yet. Windmill days, we were super busy with that, prepping, getting everything ready for the big festival. The sweeping streets, maintaining the parks, barricades, water meters, garbage. I felt it went pretty well myself, but I wasn't here the whole time, but I thought it was good. Did really well.
Jody. Behind the scenes, hopefully nobody ever sees behind the scenes.
But a big thanks to Public Works, I thought it
We did a lot of
was,
this.
well done.
We were busy with it.
Craig Kent was very happy.
Yeah.
You gotta move that up by your
Oh,
road.
fireworks.
That's a big mess.
It is kind of a, not ideal, but we'll talk about that later. Our seasonal somersault kids have started, gentlemen, Brady and Brody. They started this week, and I guess last week they started, but this week's their first kind of full week. They're doing excellent so far. We've been filling potholes with the spray patcher and the cold mix that we have when we have time. Generators throughout town were inspected, serviced in the mid to late May. A&M Heating and Cooling did maintenance on all of our AC units throughout all the buildings, make sure they're up to snuff, just did the normal service work on them. Jeremy's working with SEH in regards to the thickener, just the placement, the specs, all that stuff, kind of back and forth with them. Like I said, we're still waiting on the price from RJ. We've been flushing dead end sewer and dead end hydrants. We already talked about this, but a solution for the sewer enforcement's been determined, permits are applied for, and we got, like Eric said today, we got the water permit back, so we're just one step closer to doing it. The water meter manholes we talked about last meeting, they have been delivered to our shops, they're sitting there, so all Brightson's, whenever they're available, is gonna start installing them. So there. Eric and I, was that yesterday, looked over the scooters area and the Johnson Tractor roadways and all that to make sure everything's kind of a checklist of stuff they need to fix before, we say everything's okay. So mostly, I would say mostly seating type things, but establishment of grass and all that type of stuff. Few things you gotta do. And one more thing I'm gonna say about heating and cooling. We had A&M, or AM I guess you call it, heating and cooling go through all the buildings, check the AC units. And the one that specifically spoke about to me was about the DNR building. So the one of them it's old enough where it's got R22, which is the old coolant. And it's super expensive, so we just spent almost $2,000 filling one of them up because it was low, and I don't know if that's low because obviously it's probably leaking, but who knows what the company before, if they serviced in the last couple of years, I have no idea. So I guess we need to keep it in the back of our mind. I'm sure it's too late to include it within the project
So
itself.
hold on a second, when I looked at that, $165,000 for 8 heating, air conditioning on that
Yeah.
bid.
So
Supposedly,
I'm saying we should just, the units themselves, have somebody look at and make sure that they do need to be replaced. And then at that point, get 3 bids or whatever you gotta do to have an individual, I'm guessing it's just more or less just the actual units need to be updated because they're so old. One of them, he said that one that took a bunch of Freon, he said that they leak and it's really hard to fix them, you pretty much, they're 20 years old, you're better off just getting the updated one with the cheaper refrigerant coolant, more efficient, all that stuff. So that should probably, I just wanna make a point that really should be looked at along with, the rest of the project. And maybe it's an after the fact thing, but
So there's how many units in it?
I'm not even sure. I think there's 3 or 4.
But just one is after
No, they're all a little bit low.
One of the
One was
fires-
significantly another.
Fire.
So yeah, they're old enough where they said they should probably be looked at, maybe not all of them replaced at this time, but at least some of them should be taken account for, replacement.
Why they sell the buildings every 20 years?
we'll just turn the air conditioning off and strong arm the DNR to decide a big chunk of change a month, and then we'll turn the air conditioning back on.
you hot?
Yeah.
Wait till Kevin gets in there.
This is before you get in there, Kevin.
That's all I got.
Graham, couple
Thanks,
questions.
Yep.
Where do we sit on the Franklin Street crossing now?
Yep.
We gotta get that in.
Yep,
I
so-
don't want it in September.
Yeah, I know. Neo Electric has to hydrovac it now to put those in. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're still trying to find a reasonably priced, contractor to do the hydrovacing for them, so that's,
Call TD and I.
okay. I could tell them to try that, cause the ones that they had gotten quotes from are outrageous, they said, so they're trying to find somebody more reasonable.
Have them reach out to TD and I, they got that new back truck, so.
Okay, I will do that.
And then, I know this has been brought up before. Where do we sit on, we spent a bunch of money trying to find those sonar things? Or-
Yep, for sewer leaks, infiltration, is that what you're talking about?
Well, we had that company come in here
Yep.
and where, did we ever find anything?
Not particularly.
No.
I mean, we did find a little bit up in the northeast corner, and once we found out some of the information, we went back and we looked at the televising of it that we have, and we were able to find a couple spots to actually crack pipe. And we had our sewer televising guy, he could repair them, it's called point repair. So basically they put, what do you call that stuff, reinforced, like fiberglass in there, and they blow it up, and then it fixes that spot. So there's like 3 spots up by kind of the vet clinic, / day and night towing that we did fix, and they were leaking pretty good. So more or less, that's really the only good data we got from it was that. I mean, they gave us I shouldn't say that. We did figure out that there's probably some sump pumps up in the Stouts area, the northwest corner, that contribute to our infiltration when it rains. But otherwise, the information was kind of not the most useful overall.
Cause I was gonna ask Jeremy on his report, that has nothing to do with the levels, right, or does it?
Well, it'll just be in the monthly reports if it comes in there, but that's on a rain by rain event.
I mean, obviously it affects your totals going to the sewer plant, but
We'll
it's,
find out tomorrow.
yeah. But it's clear water more or less, but you're just treating it.
No, I know,
But yeah,
Yeah, just clear water after everybody's lawn and just put phosphorus all over it.
true.
I'm curious, is there an update on that Little Creek Park? Are you working on that park?
Little Creek.
Yeah. The one, 6th Avenue.
No, what's there, is
It's
there?
full of caution tape, that's not.
They're growing the grass.
That was trying
Oh,
to, seeding, yeah, that was trying to get the grass
okay.
going without getting
So
scraped
no
up.
updates
No,
coming to it?
no. That's just, yeah, for grass.
Ready?
Well, any more questions for Graham?
Can't wait to hear.
Kevin, you're up, you're ready to go, you're at the podium.
Nope, that's like giving Graham a hard time. So you can see, those are kind of our calls for service cases and traffic stops. There's a little bit of uptick with the season, typically warmer weather, school's out, different things like that. People are more out and about. Update on our hiring process. We're completing the background on Charles Myers, and he has a couple other tests that are left to do. I see I have a typo there, just didn't finish my sentence, so it's a little cliffhanger, but
You will.
just want to keep you ready. Everything goes through, and we plan to get him started here with the PD to fill one of our vacant positions. In addition, Sean Van Summer, touched base with him. He's currently at the 720-hour law enforcement preparatory training or academy. That should be completed in October. From that point, we can move forward on that. That should fill our 2 vacancies. Let's see where we're at here. Moving into like training, so peer support obviously is something we're going to invest in. We have a couple officers that'll be going to some specialized training coming up here in the end of the month. That training typically is designed so these officers can be to any department around or agency in the area. They can kind of be someone to go to and talk to and provide resources for them if they're in a difficult situation. That's something that you're seeing is more common in the area, and I believe is very important to the overall just well-being of our department and officers. I'm also sending our administrative assistant Darcy Almquist, because there's a need amongst her group throughout the area as well. Additionally, Darcy is going to attend administrative assistant, I guess I'll call it training, but it's more like a conference. Topics that they'll discuss is our records management system. I think that's a big one for me, especially with the move coming up ahead here with the new building. So that'll help give her a little guidance and assistance when it comes to that area. Going back, I forgot to mention, we applied for a grant. It was a smaller grant, but it's very beneficial towards our wellness program. That was through the Baldwin, Woodville, I think here, it's not the chamber.
Community
Foundation. Yeah. Thanks, I was drawing a blank there. So that's really beneficial. And part of what we're going to use that money towards is have an annual check-in with the therapist once a year, so of course annually. So that'll coincide with that. On top of that, otherwise we have, give a compliment to Windmill Days. We went through that weekend, and I think it was set up, terrifically. It's a good job, Jody, and your crew. Great coordination with the village and everybody, and it was overall very successful weekend for everyone involved, I think. So that's good to see. School, we're going to have a tabletop exercise with the sheriff's office, emergency management, and local leaders here on emergency preparedness. That's coming up, an event to hopefully have a full-scale drill. We're involved everyone, just so we're all in step and all in line if we need to use that. Other than that, really, that's kind of like the end of my report. If you have any questions.
There was I did the math, between last month and June, there was like 280-ish more calls. Is there any, were they all, were they hang-ups, or were they all?
No, probably, it's the time of year. We just get really busy in the summertime.
Warm weather makes people crazy.
Yeah. And we respond out in the county, we respond on the interstate. It's not just localized right to our community. The needs are greater everywhere.
There was something mentioned at a meeting, and maybe maybe, I don't know if this is an appropriate time to bring it up, but, about something on the north and south end, and I cannot think of what it was, but it was for catching,
Flock,
who said?
flock.
Flock cameras,
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that,
it's a budgetary item that we'll be talking about, or the budget committee will be, and Kevin will be pushing it, and I will be kind of pushing it too. I think it's a huge deal.
I thought that was a good deal.
So,
That's where they were.
We'll find out more probably September, October-ish. Budget has gotta be approved by November. Well, let's try to get it in November, instead of doing it 4 days before the tax roll comes out, like last year.
Well,
That was a mess, I know.
We've had it here weeks
I do better under pressure.
Yeah, that's the Flox camera system.
Okay, yeah, I was
Yeah.
interested in
Forgot to tell them the last shiny new cars on the streets finally,
Ooh.
almost.
we're almost there.
Do we have all of them on the street at one time? Is the transmission fixing the other one?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I was
Warranty
driving
work.
around that one today, I was pretty excited, it's very responsive, clean, smells good, new car smell, all that good stuff, so.
Didn't need me to take it for a test drive or anything?
No,
that. Wiring well.
absolutely not.
Well, I drove 2 of them from a dealership home.
Aw.
They're back here. No.
We broke
How do you
it.
sign up for that?
Yeah, where's the sheet?
You need to be laid off in March when he needs his car. So he just calls me and like, come get it.
Petition.
So. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Obviously Tom is not here, correct? Is somebody, our EMS or ambulance committee doing it, or we just, everybody sees his report? I mean, it's
Did you
pretty,
guys meet?
straightforward.
Oh, I thought you guys met this month.
no, they would've been on the committee reports.
Runs are way up.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
there.
A lot of things.
Runs were up. They had their open house last Thursday. They had probably at least 150
I was
people.
gonna say it wasn't
Very
good.
successful,
Good,
yes.
yeah.
I was there. Yep, so. Just my paper.
Okay, well, you can tell us what the next one comes back. Beth? How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm excellent.
Excellent. So we've had several events. May was a quieter month within the library just because with school winding down, we're conflicting with state track meets, graduations. We don't do as many activities. Fiber Club, we ended up with 8 to 9 high schooler kids that ended up coming monthly or weekly for like the last 4 or 5 weeks, which is nice to see. We don't tend to see a lot of the high schoolers in the library for some reason. So if this is what's going to attract them, I'm all for it. We had about 120 kindergartners visited. They always come once a year in the spring. It's one of their field trips. We give them a tour, hand out summer information. Dinosaur Dimensions, that should be the Baldwin Windmill Days, not Woodville Days. Was a hit. I've heard lots of people really liked him. I thought he was very engaging with the audience. And that we did a more targeted summer reading program, so we were actually handing out the information there. We probably got another 10 to 12 people who signed up just from being at Baldwin Woodville Days. So that was nice to see. Summer reading started this week. So did the adult reading. We did do an online sign-up form for a change. Instead of them always having to come in, we made everything available online. We had 35 people register online just for the youth program alone. We did not do the adult summer one that way, probably next year, breaking people into this new registration online thing. We received 2 grants. St. Croix Electric gave us a grant for the native plant giveaway. And we also got a Baldwin Woodville Area Community Foundation grant for our summer reading program to help sponsor some of our bigger programs that are coming in, like the Raptor Center. We have RJ Aquatic Animal Rescue. I didn't even know this. Jay and I didn't even know this thing existed, but they rescue aquatic animals, so it'd be kind of fun. Some community partnerships. Rise Group is still coming every Thursday. We do a story and craft. They have a blast. Most of the time they're doing the scavenger hunt at the same time. They spend about an hour, hour and a half in the library every week. Working with the Woodville Library and the School Forest for 3 summer programs. One's on birds, one is on butterfly migration, and one is on Native Americans. So they're going to build an eagle's nest and tag butterflies and do fun things like that. Kids Artist Market, look for that in August at the Farmers Market. Come down, support all the kids we're going to teach them some basic beginning business skills and things like that. So And then we started with the first Tuesday supper at, I'm not even gonna try it, the Lutheran Church.
Gethsemane.
I always mispronounce it. So we had out books and a kids activity. We're still trying to feel out how that's gonna lay out. June was our first month there, so I'm hoping to continue that and help keep building awareness and do more community outreach with the library. So, questions?
Doing a good job.
Thank you.
I think the whole board feels that way.
Did you want to mention our subcommittee?
No, I was gonna wait till after you all approve
Okay.
the survey on next Monday.
Okay, then nothing. I said nothing.
Boy, I will get shut down there.
Well, there's a chance the library board doesn't approve what we're doing, and then, you know, I have to
It's
come back to you.
not likely.
There's that. Before you go, I want to make a big shout out and thank you to Jody, Andy Chandler, all the people that were helping with Baldwin days. I never heard one complaint. The fireworks show was phenomenal. I don't know how you're gonna do better. I mean, I'm sure you guys got something planned. I'm sure Angie's gonna call me up, and June 17th is a huge day. Huge day to find out what's going on with that, but I just wanted, if you were there. I myself stayed a little bit home from the previous year, last year, just to keep everything a little bit better for myself, but I did enjoy the food. I was there Thursday night. I did enjoy the food trucks, the fireworks I saw from my driveway, and I just felt it was probably better to sit by my fire with my wife, and yeah.
I heard nothing but good things about
Yes.
the fireworks. I've had people ask me, was that, who put, who did that? That was amazing. Great display.
And then on sorry, not to cut
No,
you
you're
off.
good. Go ahead.
And then May 15th, correct, Blue Star? That was on the 15th of May. It was the day after our board meeting.
Yes.
So I was invited to receive basically for the village, the Blue Star Memorial down at Windmill Park. I was surprised and happy to see as many people were down there. Lots of people down there. So big thanks to Deb Walters, the Legion. Am I missing somebody? There's tons of Public Works did a lot of stuff down there. The bands were down there.
Middle and high school band. And
Yep,
choir
middle
were
school
there.
and
They
choir
were
and band were down
fantastic.
there. Deb Walters, Baby Speak. I'm sure I bombed it, but whatever.
You did.
It looks pretty cool out there for that, so. Now you can go.
It's a really nice display.
Yeah, it is. So, thank you to everybody.
I just have a couple things. One, some of you have talked to me about the managed IT and the department heads, and I've been dealing with this year. We've had a committee, which is myself, Kevin, Tom Boyer, and John Crock. So we have met with 3 different companies, and we're still tied into the current company's contract. We've got a window at the end of the year, we can give 60 days notice. So I think we have some good proposals, especially one we're kind of liking over the other 2. So you'll hear more about that during the budget, but we're looking at this obviously as a way to cut costs. It's not really bad enough. Additional monitor for the boardroom, I brought this up a few months ago. I only so far have gotten one quote from from Hudson, HES, does that sound right? But it's $6,000, so I think it's a little bit steep. I guess I'm looking at it more, maybe it's something we'll look at during the budget, but it would be another 75-inch here and that connected the 2 of them. So anyway, and I'll be attending the Wisconsin Entrepreneurial Communities Conference June 16th through 18th this week. Basically, that's Tuesday and Wednesday. There's a rep meeting Monday afternoon, so rep committee. That's all I've got.
Do you want to break one more thing to the board that you're going to be a meeting with?
Okay.
Come on. Down by Johnson Tractor.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. Well, we met with Graham, Eric, and I met with Aronzo.
No, that's not right.
No, it's not
It's
Aronzo.
not Aronzo.
Oh, it's Gonzalo.
Gonzalo.
Sorry, Gonzalo. Okay, we met with Gonzalo, Cami Development.
So it's, not called 2C no more, it's,
Gonzalo
it's
Medina.
this. Yeah.
Gonzalo
What does
Medina.
he work with?
He owns, I think he's the owner.
Okay.
Gonzalo.
Alonso's with it.
No,
No.
Alonso's not with
He's
it,
a-
no.
Okay.
Leave lowering out of this. This is not Alonso, this is Gonzalo.
Another one.
Gonzalo
New
Medina.
developer.
That's what I would say too.
It's the basically the owner of the property, got rid of 2C.
Okay. Smart.
So anyway, sorry.
So they're looking at kind of the same thing they were last time, 80 units, 3 stories, except this time around they want to do the whole thing at once, not do it in phases.
And they want,
Two.
You were asked if there.
Yeah,
Oh,
They could've
so
got that 4 years ago, we're past that.
we'll deal with that next month or whatever.
the official request hasn't come yet, but that's what he said there.
As long as they put in a KFC.
And a Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, yeah, I was gonna say that.
I'd rather have a Raising Cane's.
Question for,
One thing, Mitch, you have I kinda skipped over you, we haven't really started the project yet, so I kinda skipped over you, but you don't have anything.
They're on the time clock now. They said they were gonna start Monday and they keep pushing it off.
Okay,
So they're supposed to be digging starting next week.
okay. All right, Matt.
was it last month or 2 months ago we approved that new software for the board?
Yeah, we're getting trained
Badger books. Yeah.
week, or the week
No,
after.
not the
Or no, it's,
There
oh,
are civic.
Oh, Civic?
it's the agenda.
Civic Plus?
Yes.
Civic plus.
Oh,
Seven
Civic
national
Plus, yeah.
software, yep.
Yep, I was thinking.
And I'm not gonna be around in a few weeks, so we push it back until about the 21st of July.
Must be nice, just to take a trip overseas.
You can hit him, he's fine.
It's like connecting.
Any more questions for Mark or anybody else? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Hour 16.
54 minutes is my best.
Okay.
But I'll take this all day long. We have what?
You are giving one that was like 34.
Yeah.
But I think there was like 13.
What time I thought I did?
And then 8 of them were on the second.
I realized it did.
Like 14.
What time I've been wrong?
Nothing, I know.
I got a really short memory, I think. I really got your out.
You got that?